you know, things seem to be figuring themselves out, at least when it comes to position battles and things like that. Or maybe not figuring themselves out. You've got injury issues and stuff popping up, maybe some legal trouble in one case. Or if you believe Lane Kiffin, still doesn't know who his quarterback's going to be. But we all know who his quarterback is going to be. Anyway, they practiced for a while. They've had scrimmages. Mm-hmm. What position group now should Ole Miss and State fans be the most worried about? What position group should be the biggest concern? And then flip it. Which one should they be the most confident in?
Hey, Dad, you want to start with State? My guess is you're going to say safety
sure.
for the one to be most concerned about. It feels like it's been a bit of a theme.
Well, I mean, when you replace all three starters from one, they only have three starting safeties, and when all three of them are new, that tends to be it. I will say that I feel like they've had good competition there. I feel like Marcus Banks has probably nailed down one of those spots, but then the other ones maybe a little bit still up for grabs, but there's been good competition there. But, yeah, safety is clearly the one for me where I'm going to have the most concern overall. And then if I had to pick one that I had the most confidence in, we'll just go up a level in the defense. I mean, when you have the two leading returning tacklers in the SEC coming back to you, and Jet Johnson and Buki Watson, I mean, it's tough not to say linebacker. Now they do have to find a third guy for that trio there, but they've recruited well at linebacker the past few years. They got a lot of good young options there, and of course, if they go 4-2-5 and it's just Johnson and Watson, well then no issues there whatsoever.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about on the offensive side?
For worry, I might just go offensive line just because that's probably the group that's the most affected by what they're doing different offensively. For Rodgers, it is still just drop back and find receivers. It is still hand the ball off. I mean, I hate to simplify the quarterback position, but the most of the things he does are things he's been doing the past 3 years. There's differences now where you're going to be more in a 3-point stance and you're going to be more run blocking. There's differences there. So I have confidence in that group. It's certainly a very experienced group, but there's some things there that would make you go, okay, I can see where there might be an early struggle, an early transition, there. For most confidence, I mean, I got to go with Rodgers, right? I mean, the guy, the leading returning passer in college football. I'm a believer in him. I believe that this new system he'll do well in it. I believe that it's going to help him in terms of giving him more support from the running game and not putting all of the game onto his shoulders. I feel like at this point, a guy who started almost 30 games, if you don't have confidence in, I don't know what you're doing. So, yeah, I'd say the quarterback position for me.
On the Ole Miss side of things, I think the answer in terms of most concern, especially not knowing if Kari Coleman is going to be on your team or not, is linebacker. Because you've got Monty Montgomery in from Louisville, and you need him to be good. You've got Centurion Perkins, the high school star from Raleigh, coming in, and it's probably a big ask to say you need him to be good as a true freshman in the SEC. But you need him to contribute. You need him to be part of the mix. And then who else? Right? I mean, Ashanti Sistrunk is a returner. That's a name that you know, a guy that you recognize. They lost a lot at that particular position. And brought some guys in through recruiting, but that's the thinnest position group, I think, on the entire roster.
Yeah.
And when I say thinnest, I think I mean smallest margin for error.
Yeah. Moved Tennyson down to play linebacker and then got hurt. I don't think it's long-term, but naturally. The area of most concern is linebacker, without a doubt. Now, because of Pete Golding's defense and how flexible it is, it's not like he runs a 3-4 and you have to put 4 linebackers on the field or else. I mean, I think the 3-2-6 has died a worthy death. But, there's a chance you see a lot of just 2 linebacker looks with this team, especially with how deep they are at safety, or at least the perceived depth at safety. You can have guys play closer to the line of scrimmage and help there. And 4-2-5 is it's not like uncommon. It's a very common defensive set. That could help alleviate some of the issues is using more of that until you get Tennyson back, figure out what you have in Perkins, and if you ever get Corey Coleman back, which we'll see. That's all I got is we'll see if he plays for Ole Miss again. But yeah, it's absolutely linebacker. Even though they portaled well there, it's still linebacker.
If we're just doing sides of the ball, then I would say, and this is not specifically a position group, it's kind of like an overarching deal. I would say the secondary is the group on the defensive side that you feel most confident about. There's some really nice pieces up front. We'll see about depth on the defensive line and how much pressure they're able to get on the quarterback, and can Cedric Johnson stay healthy and all of those things. But when you think about the back end, where on the outside you're going Zamari Walton on one side and DeAndre Prince on the other, as kind of your first 2 corners. You got Isheem Young back there with some experience. Ladarius Tennyson moving down to linebacker. I don't know. We'll see on that. But I think the back end is where you feel the best about depth on the defensive side. I go to the other side of the ball. If you said, hey, what's the position group you've got the most confidence in? It's quarterback. And I'm not trying to steal your answer. Hey,
it better be.
You got a returning starter that threw for just shy of 3,000 yards. Jackson Dart needs to be better this year protecting the football. He had 11 interceptions last season. That's too many. That's a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. You got to be better than that. But then you've also got Spencer Sanders, who's the number 2 all-time passer at Oklahoma State. And you got Walker Howard sitting there in the wings as well. And you got Austin Simmons, who's not old enough and probably not ready to step onto the field and play. If he had to, some things, plural, went terribly wrong. If Austin Simmons plays quarterback this year for Ole Miss. There's a lot of depth in that room, though. And when you're talking about a returning starter and a transfer former starter at the Power 5 level, to me, that's the area you've got to have the most confidence.